Oh, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. I, of course, am here with your Lively Day show, which one of the things we'll talk about is your mortgage market update. But it seems that I talk about a lot of different things, not just that. So anyway, good morning, y'all. Great to have you here. Appreciate you joining me. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Broadcasted to you on Facebook and on YouTube. I probably should do like Instagram and stuff too. If you're here this morning, say good morning, like my friends Mike Brown and Julie Lawrence, also Michael Love. Good morning. Great to have all of you here. Thank you for joining me. Yasmin Martin, what's up, girl? Great to see you. Hope all is well in your world. If you're watching the replay, don't forget, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. It helps me separate the real people from the numbers that I get. So also, if you would like to be reminded that I'm going live, send out a quick text message just to kind of remind you and let you click to the links easy and early. Also, I like to sell this information. I sell it. It's how I make a living. No, I'm kidding. We don't sell your information. You can sign up. It's no big deal. hmmr.io/reminder. Or use this cool QR code. If you're on your phone right now, take a screenshot, go to your photos. The QR code will still work. Isn't that awesome? I think that's awesome. If you don't think that's awesome, then you just don't understand the wonders of philosophy. So today we're going to be talking about cooking with fire. You can cook with fire, but you can't fire cook. We're going to talk about that lovely situation. Wholesale deflation. Mind blown. Deflation. Not disinflation. Deflation. The first negative reading we've seen in quite a while, and it comes on the eve of a plus 0.9 reading from last month. This is a big deal. We're going to talk about it. And then CPI tomorrow, inflation, consumer inflation data tomorrow, what that means, and all of that. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. If you're here this morning, say good morning. Welcome all the live folks here this morning. Appreciate all of you being here. Tim Klyla, Deb Dickinson, Candido Diaz, Allison Foy, Amber Moser, good morning. Tiffany Teal, Kelly Hamilton, Christy Von Hughes. Good morning, all. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. So, all right, well, let's get into it. Let's get right to it. Angela Walters, hello. I did not want to click that, but that's okay. Let me go and turn this one off. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started. We'll get to the good stuff here. Good morning, Matt Rasner, Will Patterson. Appreciate you tagging an originator friend as well. All right. So taking a look here this morning, we'll start by looking at the technicals. Let's take a look at the technicals here. Let's zoom in and let's go over what happened yesterday. Let's get some Presentify going on here. There we go. All right. So take a look at what we got going on this morning. Yesterday, pricing came out right about here. And we were doing okay, but you'll notice late afternoon, we were fine. And then boom, right? The whole train came apart. And we did see some late day reprices worse. I was kind of concerned that bonds could be stalling out. But this morning, this was the initial reaction right here, bloop, right after we got this PPI data. So, kind of showing you what is going on with the actual PPI data. The producer price index, wholesale prices unexpectedly declined 0.1%. That is a negative. That is minus 0.1. That's a big deal. It is that minus is key. All right. Whereas last month we were at plus 0.09. All right. So last month was 0.9, and that's been revised to 0.7. So it was ticked down a hair, but still a very high number. But the fact that producer price index fell, look at this. That means right here, Wholesale prices surprisingly fell in August, providing breathing room for the Fed Reserve to approve an interest rate cut at its meeting this month. This is supports the idea that the Fed could go ahead and cut rates. But again, the wholesale inflation stuff generally a much lower on the rung of actually being looked at. So don't give it too much credit. Tomorrow's CPI data going to be much more important than today's PPI number. But the PPI number last time around, I think it was right around August 13th. Let's take a look here. So I should be right about, yep, August 14th. So this one right here, this red candlestick, that big drop after ticking up a day, and then boom. And then for a couple of days after, you see that we actually lost ground. This was the producer price index the last time around. So the fact that, and here it is right here, this one here. So the fact that we saw an improvement today is good. But taking a look here, you could see, again, up, a little bit of correction, up. We're starting to tip down. Tomorrow is going to be a big deal, depending on how that CPI data comes out. If that CPI data comes out positive, we will likely see candlesticks continue to improve again, right? And we'll probably go like this through the week. We could see rates slightly improve. Right now, you're looking at, right in that 6.25 area that we've been. Not seeing much of a change. You did see, like I said, so a little bit of pullback yesterday after improving on Tuesday or Monday. This was Tuesday. And then, so we saw a little bit of pullback, but it's all going to depend. However, if tomorrow, if that inflation data comes in bad, you're going to see bonds do this, and we'll probably tick down a few candlesticks. It all depends on, let me put those back. I kind of like those. All right, there you go. It all depends on what happens with tomorrow's CPI data. So, we could see that, or we could see this, right? The sun will come out tomorrow. So if you got loans closing near term, they're risk averse, you don't want to gamble going into tomorrow's data, go ahead and lock them up today. We cautiously floated yesterday, but I did point out that we were hitting, as far as the technicals went, we were basically hitting that ceiling and we were starting to fall back down. So it showed signs that after improving, the bonds were kind of stalling. Next week, a week from today, exactly, we're going to get the Fed meeting. So loans that close 15 to 30 plus days out, I would be floating those. So let's go ahead and let me put this lock advice on there. Less than, hold on a second. I gotta undo this because it won't let me type. Here we go. All right. Less than 15 days, consider locking for protection unless gambling into tomorrow's CPI, but float the rest. All right, let me put this up there. Save. And here you go. So Mike said someone has to let the supermarkets know wholesale prices declined. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? Sometimes you just laugh where they come up with this data. So as far as all this goes, again, when it comes to the actual lock advice there, we're in a good spot. Take a look at the 10-year treasury yield. Same thing. Yesterday, we ended 4.09. Day before, we were at 4.04. Right now, we're at 4.06, which is lovely, right? We're at 4.0. No, I didn't want text. Oh, that's cool. I can do text, though. I just didn't. There we go. All right. So 4.06. But again, is it going to break through? Are we going to see this fall into the threes? In order to see it fall into the threes, we'd have to have a similar disappointing scenario there. So that's what we got going on with that. As far as reprice risk on the day, it is moderate. Right now, we're up 12 basis points. Bonds are kind of doing well. You can see it right here. However, there's definitely the possibility that this could trickle back down, especially as we go through the later part of the day. So just, stay alert, stay in mind. If you need help staying on top of that, Go ahead and check out our text alerts. Remember, we do have some awesome text alerts. We send them out a couple times a day. Let me go ahead and show you what those look like. But you can sign up at ratetextalerts.com. Not very imaginative, but very effective. Ratetextalerts.com. Here's some examples of what we've had for the last couple of days. Yesterday, we had you're always going to get a morning alert around 10:15 a.m. Eastern time. And then you get an afternoon alert at the end of the day to wrap up. And then if we do see a lot of risk of reprices, then you'll get an alert about reprice risk. But this one you'll notice is alert/wrap up because there was some concern. This was coming out right as the wrap up was coming out, but there was some concern that we had lost ground. Notice we went from -3 basis points to -18 basis points, and that has to do. You can actually compare that to what we got going on over here with this big drop on the day. So if you want to protect your pipeline, you want to, you don't have to, some of these services, they've gotten expensive, 50, 60, $70 a month. They've gotten expensive. So if you want a cheap way to just keep an eye on what's going on and be protected and not have to worry about reading all the charts, sign up for our rate text alerts at ratetextalerts.com or use this QR code over here and we'll get you all signed up as well. So let me go ahead and get rid of that now. Let's go and have some fun. Let's get to some of the bigger headlines. Here is the, why did that not move away? Good morning, Mr. Randy Teakle. All right, so taking a look here, you see the headline as it shows up. Trump can't fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook for now, says a judge. Judge temporarily blocked President Trump from removing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, allowing her to remain on her job as she challenges the president's efforts to oust her over allegations of mortgage fraud. It looks like she absolutely committed mortgage occupancy fraud. Said she was going to be in 2 primary residences at the same time. However, she did it before she became a Fed member. She was nominated, she was confirmed, and it doesn't really fall into the cause clause. The cause clause. As I've said before, I didn't think that she would be able to. Judge concluded the alleged mortgage misconduct likely didn't amount to cause to fire her under the Federal Reserve Act, and the way in which she was dismissed likely violated her due process rights under the Constitution. The Justice Department likely to swiftly appeal the ruling. The U.S. courts may ultimately have the final say. Supreme Court going to definitely get a workout because they are also going to be working on the tariffs probably in November. The tariffs are, have been challenged in court, and that'll probably be in November. So tariff case could give Trump massive new fiscal powers. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump on tariffs, it could greenlight his raising other new tax revenue without Congress. And this is the problem with things. So I don't know. We're going to see where this goes. Supreme Court has agreed to hear President Trump's appeal of lower court ruling as tariffs. Its decision could matter well beyond just the levies that Trump imposed in April. If the court sides with Trump, it could hand the president sweeping fiscal authority along the purview of Congress as it belongs. It does not. That's the beauty of our system. It could enable the president by simply invoking an emergency. Again, always this thing. This is the problem here. We need what we really need is a better definition of emergency, right? We need a better definition of emergency because anytime someone says there's an emergency, it basically gives them the ability to abuse power. It could be Newsom with the governor in California was able to maintain a emergency COVID situation until 2023. So for 3 years, he was able to run free in a reign of terror, doing things that he should not have been able to do. It grants powers all the way up to the presidential level. And we have checks and balances. The beauty of our system is that we do have a 3-tiered government or a 3-pronged government system with the judicial branch, the executive branch, and the legislative branch. And as much as the legislative branch is a pain in the ass, that's one of the great things about it is a pain in the ass. And, the 2-party system is definitely not optimal and is a little bit broken, but don't look to France for a better idea because look at the train wreck that France is. They're on their 3rd new government already in, I forget how many years. And let's see if the France thing is on here. Oui, Francis. Where's France? So anyway, we'll see. This is going to happen in November. So tariffs and the repeal of tariffs and all that stuff, not likely to see any action as we go into this next Fed meeting, and not look likely to hurt rates. So let's talk about the Fed meetings real quick, and then we'll wrap up. Right now, you're looking at about a 12% expectation that we could see a half-point cut. Hey, Morano and Siegel, are y'all on? Let me know if you guys still think we're going to see a half-point cut. We did get extremely weak jobs data last week, but not weak enough to see that big cut. I think we're going to see a quarter-point cut. Markets are currently pricing in the idea that we will see 0.75 of a point by the end of the year, probably in the way of 3 quarter-point rate cuts. You would see one in the September meeting, one in the October meeting, and one in the December meeting. So likely that we see 3 rate cuts, quarter point. That is what markets believe we are going to see. And it's going to depend. Now, if tomorrow's inflation data does come in lower than expected, we could see the idea of a half-point rate cut increase. That could change tomorrow. So if we see that the consumer inflation data comes in lower than expected, this could bump up. And let's say this bumps up to like 30%. That's probably what I think it would max out at. I don't think you're going to see it go much higher than that. Let me know what y'all think in the comments as well. I don't think we're really going to see that. Julie said she thinks a half point. She's an optimist by heart. It's possible, but remember something, Julie. When we saw that half point move last September, I love showing the charts. Let's go over. I am not Logan Mashami and the chart daddy. He is the chart daddy, trademarked. But when we take a look here, look at where we were in September, and we got that half point cut, and a couple months later, we were all the way back up here over 7. So, be careful what you wish for. It's not necessarily going to solve anything wonderful. I think a quarter point cut would be absolutely fine. I think we could see rates on their own start to work their way into the 5s. Right now, again, we're around 6.25. Some weak economic data, some more labor market weakness. We'll see this push down into the 5s, but right now we're definitely in some of the best rates that we've seen in a while. Don't hold off looking for better rates because they might not come. So don't get yourself too worked up that we're going to definitely see better rates. One answer helps rates to drop. The answer of what's expected later in the year and later next year. So it's not the expectation of, personally, I mean, if we saw a half point cut, you will see some improvement to rate sheets, but not a lot. More importantly, it's going to be what Powell has to say in the press conference. And if it sounds like they're being dovish. Also, Waller is going to vote for a cut. That Bowman's going to vote for a cut. Depending on if anybody was looking for a half point cut. Forgive me. Sorry, didn't want to sneeze. If anyone's looking for a half point cut, that would be a big deal. That'll be in the minutes. We'll hear about that a month from now. So you won't get that immediately, but it's all going to be on the press conference next week. So let's start off with tomorrow's CPI data, though. Again, it's on the bottom. I would be, looking at locking up some loans that are closing near term, unless you're really looking to gamble into tomorrow's CPI data. If the CPI data does come in better than expected, how does that play out? Well, you could take a look here. What is this? Red 101.27, 101.20, and right now we're at 101.19. If the CPI data were to improve tomorrow, you could see the 10-year break 4. I think we could see the 10-year break 4 if the CPI data were to come in cooler than expected tomorrow. And we could see mortgage-backed securities push up to the best levels that we've seen in this rally. So right now, the best level is 101.28, and we could see them push higher. Like I said, if the CPI data comes in better than expected tomorrow, that could push us better. But that means rate sheets, you're going to see better pricing. You're not going to see rates themselves drop. We're certainly not going to all of a sudden shoot down into the 5s or anything crazy. So that's what we got going on, my friends. Hope that helps you all. I don't know if we did miss Raw National Day. Today is National TV Dinner Day. You've never had one? Mike Brown says today is National TV Dinner Day. Who's had a TV dinner? Mike Morano said unemployment inflation, Steve Marion's vote, Steve Moran. Since all that didn't net out, you're back to a quarter. Yeah. I got you. Thank you for for piping in on that. Hi, Millie girl. All right. Millie wants to come in. I'm going to let her in. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Jump on tomorrow. We'll talk about what happened with the CPI data, where we're at, and see if I'm right. So, all right, y'all. See you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.